Well, welcome to the 700 Club. Both Democrats and Republicans are asking for more information from the White House about the decisions to shoot down unidentified flying objects. The Biden administration insists it's being transparent as possible.
Well, the shoot-downs came after a fighter jet took down a Chinese spy balloon that flew across the country. All of these incidents have increased the tensions between the U.S. and China. Dale Hurd has the story.
U.S. officials say a significant amount of the electronic technology from the Chinese spy balloon that flew over the U.S. and was shot down 10 days ago has been recovered from the floor of the Atlantic. Officials say the payload carried by the balloon weighed around 2,000 pounds and was the size of 3 school buses. In addition to the craft shot down off the Carolinas, military jets downed a slow-flying cylindrical object in Alaska, a similar object in Canada, and an octagonal object over Lake Huron. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin said the recovery efforts at each location are ongoing.
These objects do not present a military threat to anyone on the ground. They do, however, present a risk to civil aviation and potentially an intelligence collection threat.
One White House official said so far there's little indication some of the objects were anything more than weather or science balloons, since they apparently had no communication signals and no maneuvering or propulsion capabilities. NORAD, which is responsible for the nation's air defense, says it's adjusted its radars to look for more of the objects.
One of the reasons that we think we're seeing more is because we're looking for more. They have modified the filters and the gains, as we call it, of the radar capabilities to look more discreetly at high altitude, small radar cross section, and low speed objects.
The White House says it's establishing an interagency team to investigate the objects. And the administration sought to put to rest internet rumors the balloons came from extraterrestrials.
There is no indication of aliens or terrestrial activity with these recent takedowns.
Lawmakers from both parties are demanding more transparency from the White House, which has been slow to divulge information about the objects. The balloon incidents have also led to some tense exchanges between the United States and China, with both nations accusing the other of spying. At the same time, China has also raised tensions with its neighbors. In the disputed South China Sea Monday, a Chinese Coast Guard ship aimed a military-grade laser at a Philippines Coast Guard ship, temporarily blinding some of its crew. The incident happened just a few days after the Philippines and Japan agreed to boost their defense cooperation. The Philippines called the laser incident a blatant violation of Manila's sovereign rights. China claims virtually all of the South China Sea as its territory. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Well, the tensions are certainly ratcheting up. You had a U.S. general essentially claim that war with China is inevitable. Last year, you had the president of China, President Xi, telling his own military to prepare for war. In all of this, downing of spy balloons and these UFOs that we don't know what they are and what country they're from, all of this, then the tension between China and the Philippines, security agreements being signed between the Philippines, Japan, and the United States. Biden talking about forward bases for Marines to defend Taiwan. All of this is a very tense moment. We need to pray for peace here. Any kind of war in the Pacific would be absolutely devastating. We do not want that at all. I hope, and I certainly pray, that these forces stand down and that restraint comes back into the picture. In other news, another deadly shooting in America, this time on a college campus at Michigan State University. Ephraim Graham has that story from the CBN Newsroom. Ephraim?
Gordon, the gunman opened fire Monday night at the university, killing 3 students and critically wounding 5 more people before killing himself. Frightened students hid in the dark after police issued an alert on Twitter at about 8:30 Eastern saying they should shelter in place.
Didn't think twice. It was just kind of book it and get out as fast as I can.
It was a natural instinct to just run.
About an hour after that first warning, a second shooting was reported at the popular MSU Union. Hundreds of officers scoured the campus looking for the suspect. They soon announced the 43-year-old shooter died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound after officers confronted him.
That 43-year-old male is not affiliated in any way with Michigan State University. He's not a student, faculty, staff. And we have no idea why he came to campus to do this tonight.
Police report some of the hospitalized victims still have life-threatening injuries. I want to turn now to the aftermath of those catastrophic earthquakes in Turkey and Syria. Rescuers are still finding survivors amid the rubble more than a week after the devastation swept the region. It is the worst natural disaster in Turkey's history. As Chris Mitchell reports from the earthquake zone, the country will have to deal with an enormous rebuilding effort, and millions of people face the challenge of putting their lives back together.
The devastation of destroyed buildings, homes, and businesses stretches nearly 300 miles. This graphic shows the destruction zone in Turkey after those two massive earthquakes and dozens of aftershocks. As a comparison, it's the same area north of New York City to south of Washington, D.C., including New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, and part of Pennsylvania. The country faces a massive rebuilding program. Millions of Turkish citizens are suffering from post-traumatic stress from the harrowing and traumatic experiences like Abdul Karim Arsarim.
The ground floor of our building was gone. They threw a rope. I tied my children and they went down. Then my wife. Then me. Of course, there were no socks, no shoes. Then the building collapsed. We didn't believe we could be rescued. We thought death had come at that moment.
The combined death toll between Turkey and Syria stands at about 37,000, with tens of thousands more injured and left homeless. To provide material support and hope to the Turkish people, CBN's Operation Blessing mobilized within hours of the earthquake and recruited volunteers like Karen Cochran.
As soon as the earthquake happened, I was like, I got to get on the ground and help in any way I can. So I got connected with Operation Blessings and Diego, and here we are. This is just incredible. I was just thinking, we have almost 10 nations represented here. We have Ukraine and Belarus and Brazilian, so it's really amazing. And just to be able to be a part of bringing any aid and relief to the Turkish people in this time.
Diego Traverso, Operation Blessing's International Director of Disaster Relief, says Turkey is a critical place to be.
Because we want to be in the center of the action, where the people need it, where not only the people that is in suffering, keep praying. Partners of CBN Operation Blessing, keep praying for us, keep praying for the victims, keep praying for our volunteers, for our teams. We're deploying right now. Our experts are going to be arriving in the next couple hours. Water engineer, doctor, health team. The help is so needed.
Well, Chris Mitchell is with us now, live from Turkey, and we just passed 1 week since the earthquake. So, Chris, where do the search and recovery efforts now stand?
Well, I think, Gordon, right now it's nearly the search and rescue is almost over, and the recovery is starting. So I think right now, Gordon, it's humanitarian aid is the big thing that they're looking for right now. If you can see behind me, the rubble is just amazing. The things are just there's just incredible what you can see behind me. So, okay. Hey, Gordon, I just wanted to wrap up here. I'm gonna file another report pretty soon, but because of some local officials, we're gonna have to cut it there. But just continue to pray for everybody that's going on, and it's a very disastrous situation. As you can see, humanity crisis is great, but Operation Blessing is there on the ground.
All right. Well, thank you for that report, Chris. We look forward to your report tomorrow, and we're there. Operation Blessing is there. We're there in your name. And we want to do even more. You just saw that report where many nations are joining together. Volunteers are coming from all over the world to help in this need. It's one of the greatest humanitarian tragedies of my life. The only one that I can think of that was any greater was what happened with the tsunami in Indonesia. This is long-term redevelopment, but right now we're into a crisis situation with the people who are the survivors of this earthquake. They're in the middle of winter. They have no shelter. They have no heat. They don't even have blankets. They lack clothes, the basic necessities of life, food and water and shelter. They don't have them, and we want to be there for them and let them know we love them. God loves them. If you want to be a part of it, all you have to do is pick up the phone and call us and say, I want to give to the Operation Blessing Disaster Relief Fund. You can also write to us at CBN Center, Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23463, or you can text OBDR to 71777, or you can go to CBN.com. Be a part of helping those in need. Do it right now. 1-800-700-7000.